This portion of the show is brought to you by AmericanTrailerAZ.com.
This is the Jeff Oravits Show.
All right, welcome everyone. Another day. Another sharing my, I guess, weird outrage over, in this case, this time a dude, let's just be honest. Let's just start calling this stuff what it is. A dude punching a girl at the Olympics. This is sad watching this.
Mm-hmm. I know. I just get sad.
I think about this girl who broke down at the Olympics, and after like 45, 46 seconds, probably worked her whole life to get to this point. Mm-hmm. And she gets, just pounded in the head. And people don't understand this outrage. People don't understand that we get labeled as we're weird when we point this stuff out. And people like us that have been pointing this stuff out for really years now, but especially the past, couple years that we've been like, something bad is going to happen. So people are going to get killed with this
that's
stuff.
What I'm worried about. But the full contact ones, like the wrestling, the boxing, not that I agree with allowing this to happen in any sport, but
full contact,
at least the contact sports, because if you're like competing against another swimmer or a runner or something, and that is just, I still don't think it's fair, but at least,
I don't want to see that happen.
At least it's not punching someone or wrestling someone or, whatever the other ones are that have contact.
Yeah, this is sad. Let me share this story with you, and then some more Olympic craziness with, the backtracking now as to we are. I don't know. We're just like bumpkins that don't understand the artistic expression that happened at the opening ceremonies.
We have no idea of like culture, art,
We just,
history. We're just like completely
uncultured,
ignorant, and intolerant.
They really need to educate us. So I want to get to that. Plus, I am glad that the prisoner release has happened. The journalist and the service member who's released from Russia today. But it's always an uneven exchange that happens in this case, and you get people that were falsely charged by Russia, of course, for spying and this and that. And then in exchange, they get hard criminals back and, people who have actually been involved in murder and things like that. And they get, it's always like 10-for-1 exchanges, it seems. So let's break that down. I have a couple of Arizona election updates I want to get to as well. A couple more, at least one big race has been declared. I want to talk about Trump going to the, what was that called? The journalist group, you got to get this stuff right nowadays, the National Association of Black Journalists in Chicago, and the outrage that's happened since then. And then also another big one today is 9/11 families many are really upset because a deal was made with the mastermind behind 9/11, which to me seems like yesterday, but for some people they weren't even alive.
Yeah.
A large percentage of this country at this point. But they made a deal with the guy to, plead guilty in exchange for not getting, executed, which, I don't know how 3,000 people died, all the families involved, everything that came after that, the wars, and this guy got a deal to spare his life. So we'll hit on all that. Love to hear from you as well. Talk with Jeff at iCloud.com. That's talk with Jeff at iCloud.com. All right, before I get to that though, and I'll start off with the Olympics and this dude who was pretending to be a girl in the boxing fight. I have been buying physical gold and silver from Desert Gold Exchange. We have been, I should say. We have been buying physical gold and silver from Desert Gold Exchange for a couple years now. And we've been doing this for 25 years. And what I really like about Desert Gold Exchange, an Arizona company that can ship they deal exclusively in physical gold and silver. They'll get you that shipped to anywhere you want in the state, in the country, quite frankly. They have the lowest prices out there as far as the commissions and the fees. The price of gold and silver that's the price, no matter where you go. Commissions and fees is what really gets you. So if you call them, put them to the test, they'll guarantee that they're going to have the lowest commissions out there. That's the bottom line. Lowest commissions on physical gold and silver when you deal with Desert Gold Exchange. Here's the number, 888-852-4343. That's 888-852-4343, or go to desertgoldexchange.com. Okay, you usually watch the Olympics. Have you watched it?
I've always have since I was little, but I grew up in a pretty competitive household.
Yeah.
And we were, really into sports, at least, especially my, immediate household and my mom's side.
Yeah, you guys,
really
were
into
a sports nut family. Yeah, I mean,
so,
that's an understatement.
There was always
and
a game.
You've had professional athletes in your family.
Yeah.
Your brother played professional ball.
Cousin who did.
Cousin.
My uncle did.
You had a hockey player. You got your uncle
My
played
uncle
many years in the major leagues. Still, he's an announcer up in.
He does broadcasting for the Rockies.
Yeah, for the Rockies.
So he travels a lot with them.
So yeah, you guys are sports nuts.
Right. So there was always a game on of some sort. Football, basketball, baseball, and the Olympics. I don't know. I just always enjoyed the sports that you don't see a lot because we always had baseball on or whatever, which was fine. But, I like every once in a while you'd get into someone doing the rowing or the sports that you don't see otherwise. So I would really enjoy the,
She's watching this stuff and I'm like, what is this? I didn't even know this.
You'd get into the speed skating.
It's like the Olympics for darts.
No, it would be like the bicycling or, we always had the Tour de France and stuff on too. Yeah. My dad was really into that.
Yeah.
So I kind of like seeing the sports that you don't see a lot. And
my house, the sports were never on. No. It was never on. And I don't mind watching it, and I actually have liked watching the Olympics as well, but we haven't really watched any of this.
That's been going on for the past few.
Yeah. You just get Olympics. Sick of it. So now here's the latest one. So this Italian girl, 25-year-old Carini, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She's a police officer, right? Mm-hmm. And she gets to the Olympics, and she fights this guy named Khalif. I think he was from
Algeria.
Yeah. He's a biological male. 46 seconds.
And he was
46 seconds.
Last year in the World Championships, he was disqualified because he did not pass the gender eligibility test.
Like a testosterone thing.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. I don't know a lot about it, but they test the levels and whatever, and if you don't pass, then you're disqualified. So he got disqualified less than a year ago.
Here he is. How did he get back into the Olympics? Or get back into the sport and to make it to the Olympics? Yeah. And face this girl who I'm sure has worked her entire life to get to this position. 25 years old. My guess is, I don't know. You don't see a lot of people. You don't see female boxing. Even boxing in general has lost its luster over the years. It's more of the UFC fights, things like that. Yeah. But generally speaking, you don't see a lot of women in this type of sport. So I would imagine there's not a huge market for it. She's not in. Here's my point. She's probably not in it for the money. She's not making a ton of money. She's passionate about it. She loves doing it. And she got into this and she makes it all the way to the Olympics. And in 46 seconds, this guy just beats the crap out of her, pounds her in the head, and she stops. She goes to the corner and just stops the fight. I watched the video. He comes over to her and kind of taps her. Are you okay? Well, no, I'm not okay because I'm fighting a dude.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. I'm fighting a dude here. She burst into tears. And she says, I'm reading the Daily Mail here, that she had never felt such strong blows in a match. Of course not, because you got punched by a dude, repeatedly. And, I was brought up, and I think most of you listening brought up to, we defend ourselves. We defend the women in our lives. The big, you had, your younger brother, but not very much younger. I'm sure your dad's, you will never hit Angela.
Oh,
right.
You
never hit a girl.
Yeah.
And here a dude is, boxing a girl, and they knowingly did it.
Yeah.
So this is why I guess I'm weird.
Yeah.
And you're weird.
Well, I was
and
reading
everybody
too,
listening's weird.
I mean, I guess in fairness, I don't know, that the female boxer was given the opportunity to get out of it basically and just declined to do it, but she wanted to.
Yeah.
That is just the way she was brought up. That was that I heard, or something about the coach had offered
to get out of it,
to get out. And she said, no, I'm not going to back down.
And forfeit.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it would be a forfeit.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that's a crappy position to put
how
any
do
of these
you put
athletes
yourself in that position?
So, okay.
You can. And she had said, hey, I didn't do this to make a statement or, anything like that. I really wanted to do it, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah. When she got in there and she's fighting a dude, Yeah, she couldn't do it
Yeah.
because it's just not built the same. You've
Right.
mentioned this many times.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, there's a few women I've seen that probably are fine with doing it, but generally this
Yeah.
is not the, this is an
Yeah.
exception when
Well,
that
and
happens.
someone who recently did not pass the test.
Yeah, should have never been in
Yeah,
there. Should have
right.
never been in there. So I'm disgusted by this. This poor girl, who did stand up and do it and knew what she was getting into, but kind of forced upon it, quite frankly. You're at the Olympics.
Yeah.
I'm going to forfeit.
How are you going to back
I'm going
out?
to try to go out there and do it. And, it's just looking at this guy, bigger, taller, longer arms. I can see the shoulders. I can see the manly biceps and shoulders. I mean, come on.
It's not just that. It's like a bigger lungs,
Everything.
bigger heart, bigger everything, bigger legs. And
Look at the picture.
oh man, he's like clearly shaved his arm on his arms.
This is a guy and punching a girl. And it's disgusting, it's disgusting, quite frankly. Anyway, so I'll continue not to watch. And here's the thing. People are coming out to the Olympics. You're reading an article that it's our fault. It's kind of the whole weird thing that's going on right now. If you believe this stuff.
Yeah,
if you
the
think
outrage over the opening ceremony thing was like basically just that, we just have limited worldview and we're just
intolerant.
we're just really not
well cultured.
Yeah,
we're not well traveled.
Yeah.
We don't understand.
Yeah.
And I guess in that impact, we're weird. Then look, here's what you got to do. People need to start just protesting this stuff more. And I was thinking about this earlier, and I was like, if you go to a thing like where this dude was standing up as the victor in the Olympic Games, you just fold your arms and you turn your back.
Yeah.
And people just start doing stuff like that.
Right.
And then you go to the whatever, if it's a school that's supporting this or an organization, you go to the boosters, you go to the people supporting it financially and say, maybe you're one of them that's doing that. You say, I'm not supporting your program anymore. I'm not going to support you putting up a dude who's pretending to be a girl, who's pounding the crap out of actual female biological girls, right? And that's the only way this is going to stop. The only way I've ever seen anything really stop is, one of the only ways is through financial means and actually voting with your wallet.
And
that's the only way it happens.
A company, C-Spire, that pulled all the ads out of the Olympics.
I saw that.
Yeah.
After the opening ceremony.
Yeah, after that.
Yeah.
But
a big sponsor.
Then all they do is say, well, you're just intellectually simplistic.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
And, this is just a knee-jerk reaction. And it's just, and then they flaunt it as like, oh, well, this is the real reason why conservatives are mad. And it's not the real reason at all.
No, it's not. And they're trying to act.
The real reason being that we're just,
we're uneducated. We're not cultured. We're simplistic. Blah, 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 blah.
And we can't diverge from anything outside our worldview. Like our worldview is just so limited, so narrow that anything outside that is just, we can't deal with that.
Well, they didn't need to use the Last Supper as their backdrop. They claim it wasn't, but come on.
Yeah.
Come on. And the blue man that was with Dionysus or whatever, the god of wine. Right? I mean, okay, that's right in front of the Last Supper. Come on. You knew exactly what you were doing.
Right.
You got called out on it. It was so obvious.
So then
there was
they
no
go
need
back
to go
and say,
there.
well, that really wasn't it.
Yeah,
and,
whatever.
that we only flipped out because, again, our worldview is so narrow that we,
that's what it is.
We can't deal with
that's what it is.
With that. Yeah.
Here's a question I would have if we could get some true debates where you start asking these actual questions and don't go to CNN. And I get really frustrated watching. Why did Trump go to the National Association of Black Journalists in Chicago? I know he likes doing this stuff and he likes the conflict. He likes the debate. He likes to do the zingers back at them and stuff like that, whatever group it is. But you can tell just by looking at the setup, these people were just there to cause harm. They weren't there to ask questions to get down. Let's figure out more about Trump.
They don't really want to know the answer.
They don't want to know. They don't want to be convinced. They don't want to know the answer. They got the answer.
Yeah.
And I would ask Trump and his team, if I was talking to them, why are you doing this? Don't go to that stuff. Yeah. You gain nothing. It actually probably causes more problems and is a total setup. It's not worth it. Just like the last debate was on CNN. Is it worth going? Say, no, we're going to do it somewhere else.
Yeah, I thought he was going to do that.
I know, but they never do.
To do debate with
just say, no, I'm not doing it on a network that clearly has leftist leanings. And, I'm not going to this event where you just want to do a setup.
And doing an interview.
Just stop doing it. Stop giving them anything because they don't care. There's no honest journalists out there. Well, I shouldn't say no. There's very few honest journalists out there anymore you've got an article, and we'll get to it here in just a little bit, regarding turbulence and climate. It's always climate change.
Yeah.
Everything draws, that's not honest journalism. That's not that everything now you blame on climate change. And, Trump goes this, he's a racist. See? And that's all they wanted to do. Don't do it anymore. Don't buy into it. I'm so tired of conservatives falling into this trap. Just don't do it. But if we were to have a debate with Kamala Harris, if we can get Trump, but I don't blame Trump for not saying he's going to debate her yet. She's not even the official pick yet.
Yeah.
Last time he did a debate with the so-called official pick, he's gone already. Yeah. So just wait a while, right? But anyway, when they do eventually do a debate, maybe, I would ask, do you support Vice President Kamala Harris? Do you support well, I would word it this way. Do you support the dude pretending to be a girl getting an Olympic medal after puncturing, or I don't know if he got a medal, but winning the round?
He's going further on, though, like the semifinals or something.
Getting an Olympic medal or winning the round after punching a real girl. Ask the question of both Trump and Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Do you support the dude pretending to be, or any dude pretending to be a girl punching a real biological girl?
Right.
Yeah. Just going to be that Kamala Harris cackle. Yeah. No, yes or no. Do you support a dude, a dude born a male, born a dude, says he's a girl now, punching a girl, a real girl?
Because
I think most Americans would find that answer revealing. Most of us would say
that's domestic violence, and the guy should be arrested.
Yeah. Yeah,
and a restraining order.
Yeah, I think that most Americans, when they heard the answer, because if she gave her true answer, if she says no, absolutely not, she outrages the outraged left. Mm-hmm. If she says yes, I think that dude,
that's okay.
That's okay because that's his true self.
Yeah,
punching that girl because he probably couldn't make it in the real. Fighting
in
actual dudes.
World?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Because he'd be there. It's just like we've seen the runners and bicycle races and what have you, where the girl, the guy pretending to be a girl wins. And you find out they were used to be in the dude competition.
Yeah, and they were like 65th or
99th out of 99. And then all of a sudden they're champions, right? Yeah. So no, ask the question. Ask the question of all the leftists. Do you support? Hasn't this gone too far with this transgender stuff?
Someone's going to get killed. That's what I said.
Somebody's going to get killed. Probably already happened. Yeah.
Like that person, she's lucky she's not below ground right now.
Yeah, unbelievable. If you're fighting someone that looks like Drago, right?
Ivan Drago.
Remember Drago from, what was that, Rocky IV?
Yeah.
Rocky IV.
He was Russian.
Yeah. I must break you. I mean, it's sad. It's sad. All right. Hey, it's a good time to get your insurance rebid out, or quoted out, we should say. Is that the correct terminology that I'm using?
Mm-hmm.
You should.
I think.
Yeah, you should. You think.
Well, I'm not in the insurance world. I don't know what they say.
You should call up Eric Boatner, Allstate Insurance Agency. Angela did that, and she was able to save on our homeowners policy, able to save on our
cars,
autos, and it's quite a bit. So what I'm hearing from a lot of people right now, some people call and say, I wasn't able to save, but most people are saying, I was able to save quite a bit of money by switching over. You just make that call because you probably had the same insurance policy for probably a long time with the same company.
Well, you never know. It could be a great deal. And
so
just try.
Have them bid it out. And I think you're going to be really surprised when you call them. And you're going to get great service as well. From Eric Boatner, Allstate Agency, 928-774-8722. That's 928-774-8722. Quick break. Back in a minute.
This is the Jeff Oravits Show.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Timberline Firearms and Training.
This is the Jeff Oravits Show.
All right, welcome back. Angela's here with me for this hour, hitting on some of our weird stories. Our frustration was just weird. So I am happy that it was Evan, I'm going to butcher this, Evan Gershikovich, Wall Street Journal reporter, and then Paul Whelan, who was former service member. And, they've been sitting in a Russian jail for a long time. Years. Yeah. And there was this from Straight Arrow News, major prisoner swap that happened that the Biden administration, handled. Very proud of. And, I'm glad they're released, but you look at this though, and there were quite a few Russians that went back to Russia who were charged in criminal nature. One guy was shooting in Berlin or something. So Russia makes up phony charges. The journalist, spying. The other guy's spying.
He's a spy.
Yeah, of course they're a spy. Everybody's a spy.
They haven't proven a darn thing.
Yeah, and then they make this trade. And it's always an uneven trade, it seems.
So what do you think's going to happen what's next year? Next month or another person.
Exactly.
Oh, you're a spy. Hey, let's trade for,
why don't we get even exchange? Say, okay, you got a journalist. You say this guy's a spy. You're full of it. We know that, this is the behind the scenes meeting that should happen. And, we're going to do, it's 1-to-1.
Yeah.
It's 1-to-1. So you need to pick someone that's not a murderer.
Right.
And you're going to get one. We're going to get one. Same thing with the other guy. I mean, why do they do this? So they did this, Biden administration did this, a year or two ago. They got back
the basketball thing.
Girl, Brittany Griner is her name, right? Yeah. It's Phoenix Suns, isn't that what she is? Phoenix Suns basketball player.
She's at the Olympics now.
Is she at the Olympics? Okay. Went over there and they supposedly found some kind of paraphernalia or something. Was it?
Yeah, found some kind of
something crappy.
Pot,
minor offense at best. Who knows if it was planted? You just don't know, right? Yeah. She sits in a jail. She shouldn't have been nabbed, of course, but she was was she over to playing ball or something like off season?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and they caught it in her check bag or carry-on bag or something.
So she sits in jail in a Russian prison, and they do like the whole, if you see the trial, they put him up in a cage basically in the middle. I mean, it's pathetic what they do. But then what do? They trade her for Victor Bout.
I know.
Boot, I think is how you pronounce it. Victor Bout, the merchant of death. And who knows how many others, right? She's a very high profile. I shouldn't say she was a high profile athlete.
Even more high profile after the
exactly
jail.
But then they trade for a international arms smuggler, Victor Bout. This guy was, we used to employ him, quite frankly. The U.S. used to employ him, and then he worked for terrorists, and he would, highest bidder type guy. Eventually, that fell out of favor, and they decide, hey, it's time to bring in good old Victor here. He gets grabbed somewhere, and he winds up in jail over here, right? Not a good guy, right? They trade for this guy. He's over there free now. Last I heard, and I don't know if he won, he ran for public office somewhere in Russia, and when you run for public office, it's like, are you Putin's buddy? Of course he's Putin's buddy. Yeah. So you wonder what good old Victor Bout is doing now, after this uneven, quite frankly, and I'm glad she's released too, but uneven trade. How do we do better, as a nation? How do we get people that actually
get a better negotiator? First of all,
negotiator.
I mean, that would probably that would probably be all you need.
Yeah, that would probably do it. And that would be Trump, not Kamala Harris. I'm real worried about this election. I got to tell you, and I want to share with you some of my thoughts on that when we come back. Plus, I want to get you a couple of election updates here in Arizona. A couple more races have been determined, so share the details with you on that. Hey, if you get a rock chip in your windshield, remember to call Diamond Auto Glass first. They'll get that rock chip repaired. They can replace your windshield as well. They also do window tinting. With the earth heating up and soon it'll be 4,000 degrees, you're going to want some good reflective coating there when you're driving your car around, right? I mean, even if you drive an electric vehicle, it can get hot. So they can do window tinting, but they also do window tinting on your home. So they can do the window tinting on the inside of your windows in your house. And I can save on energy, cut down on UV rays. We're talking privacy issues, and they have decorative films as well. So pretty cool thing they got going on at Diamond.
We need some of that because we have some triangular shaped windows that
you
cannot put blinds on because it's a very odd shape. We have two of them, and there's certain times of the year that the sun comes streaming in. Yes. And it's blinding.
I am sold. I didn't even think about that. So weird shaped windows. Yeah.
Actually, we have four of them.
Okay.
We have four with no blinds, but they're up very high.
Yeah, Stuart and your team, if you're listening, we need to get you into measure up some weird shaped windows that we can't get blinds on, and we don't want to put like, sheets, triangular sheets on. You can come on in and do your window tinting. And here's who you call. Diamond Auto Glass, 928-779-4140. That's Diamond Auto Glass at 928-779-4140, or go to thedifferenceisclear.com. All right. When we come back, let's get you election updates plus, what was the other big one I wanted to hit on? Oh, you had a story of an elk story. We got to share that, of course. A crazy elk story. And a couple other Arizona news items. Hang tight. Back in a minute. Hey, if you're listening to the podcast, please give us a great review and also give us a comment in there. If you're not listening to the podcast, subscribe. Look up the Jeff Oravich Show. Also on video, Rumble, follow us there, and on YouTube, subscribe. We appreciate everyone who's done that.
This is the Jeff Oravich Show.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Sportsman's Bar and Grill. All right, welcome back. Talk with Jeff at iCloud.com. If you got a comment, love to hear from you. Angela's here with me for this part of the show. Election counting, tabulation is still going on in Arizona. I heard they were going to drop like a big chunk of any remaining ballots today.
Oh, okay. Most of them aren't close enough to matter, though.
Yeah, they're not. I don't know if that one was determined down in southern Arizona with the girl who's doing 70 miles per hour.
Oh, Justine
Wadsack. And then, it's pulled out the immunity card. And then she was behind Vince Leach, I believe, who formerly was in the House, I think.
It's a couple of points difference there.
It was slight. So we'll see if as more ballots get dropped. And what happens is the provisionals all come in, and then there's a certain amount of ballots that, they weren't able to count election night. So those are the ones you're going to start seeing hit here. But most of these races have been decided, although not declared, with the check mark. Like I'm certain Senator Wendy Rogers won, but there wasn't a check mark last I saw.
Yeah.
And many others. But one that whoever they are, the counters, I don't know, are saying is that he's the winner is Congressional District 8. That is the current district that's Debbie Lesko was serving in. She's been there for a few terms, largely Phoenix area, right? And then, by the way, Debbie Lesko, and she got out of Congress because she wanted to spend more time with her family and wanted to not be in D.C. and this and that. But then she ran for Board of Supervisor. Must be Maricopa Board of Supervisor. And I think she won that race. So I don't see that as being there's more time available. I mean, the county board
just
is like
closer to home, I guess.
I guess so. But when I think about it, it's like, I just want more time. I'm going to move to Camp Verde and be one of the, 10 people that ran for council there. And we have a meeting, once a month or something. And they pay like, $100 or $200. You see that race? There was like 10 people.
There was 10 or
that were running for that. And
9 or something.
That's interesting there. So anyway, for CD8, looks like Abe Hamaday is going to take this one, eking it out over Blake Masters. Abe got the endorsement of President Trump early. But then Blake Masters, last week.
Didn't Trump endorse Blake Masters in the last?
Yeah, last week he endorsed Masters. So there was 2 Trump endorsed candidates running against each other.
No, I was saying in the last election, when Masters ran for Senate.
No, you're correct. So
Senate.
So Trump did endorse Blake Masters in the 2022 election for Senate against Mark Kelly. Then fast forward, and Blake and Abe and Carrie Lake, they were all buddies, they were all doing good. And then Blake and both been on the show, and I've always enjoyed talking with them. But then Blake and Abe became a vicious, Animal House food fight going on, right? And so Abe got the actual endorsement from Trump weeks or months ago. But then last week, Trump then also endorsed Blake Masters. So there was 2 Trump endorsed candidates running there.
Did he forget that he already?
No, I just think that
more than one.
There's the scuttlebutt is that Blake Masters is good friends with the, I forget his name, the big tech guy, the crypto guy. And so is Vance. So as soon as Vance got in there, I think there was some pressure put on, hey, you forgot about Blake. And it's like, okay, let's just do both of them. And I guess I get that when you're just like, hey, they're both good guys.
Yeah.
I kind of felt that way. And I'm really glad that Carrie Lake advanced, and she's going to be going up against super leftist Gallego, who's now a centrist. I'm glad she made it through, but I was, and I think they were even friendly to each other. I liked both Sheriff Lamb and Carrie Lake. So, I endorsed Carrie Lake in the primary, but I could have seen myself in a position like, yeah, you're both good guys.
Yeah,
you're
like either one.
Good candidates. I kind of felt that way with the Williams, the Williams city mayor's race. Don Dent's been doing a good job as mayor. I thought that Mayor Moore did a good job, and I think they're both good guys. So that one, I'm just not going to say anything, or else I got to give them both my endorsement type of thing. And so I guess I don't know what's in his mind. I guess that's what someone told him it was a good idea, and he's like, yeah, that's good.
Well, let's run how many others were there? 4? 3 or 4 others? Oh,
there was six in that race. I mean, you had Speaker of the House, you had Senator Kern, you had there was 6 people.
2 of them got.
Yeah, Ben Toma, who I thought was a good guy. He's a good speaker. So again, there was a lot of people that you could get behind in that, and we'll see what happens. But I think that Abe Hamadeh won with maybe 28% of the vote. That's what happens in these primaries where there's so many people. Okay, 2 climate change related issues here. Let's move on. Stupid headline of the day. I like doing this, and this one once again is from CNN. Let me just read this to you because they're talking about Phoenix. Icy body bags and mobile coolers. Here's what it takes now to survive outside in America's hottest city. So you need icy body bags, because when you get the bodies that are just piling up on the street everywhere, because people are just dropping dead because the heat it's cranked up so much. It used to be so much hotter. You would wear like a jacket this time of year in Phoenix, and now it's so hot that there's just body bags flying. So, and they need mobile coolers for all the dead bodies.
They said that during COVID too, and it was proven to be not true.
Yeah, the Burger King trucks. Yeah. Remember that? Oh, we got all the Burger King ice, or whatever it was. Right?
It's like, a morgue.
These people are such
mobile morgue.
These people are such liars. These people are so just sensational with their headlines. And I didn't read much of the article, even though it says it's only a 5-minute read. But in 5 minutes, I would probably get nauseous reading it. But it's just a load of crap, as if. When it was 116 degrees a couple years ago and now it's 117, it was so much different. You didn't need body bags at 116, huge. But 117. This has nothing to do with the fact that Phoenix has probably doubled since or more sure. Since you grew up, you were born in Tucson, and you grew up in Arizona. Phoenix has grown tremendously. There's a lot more people living in a very hot place.
It's expanded more. Yeah. All they've done is pave over.
More and more concrete. Yeah. And then you've got, and they got rid of it thanks to a lawsuit brought forward by the Goldwater Institute. You got these big, huge homeless encampments, which tend to attract more people from other areas, and they grow and become cities unto themselves, right? So you got more people living outside there because of jacked up policies. Yeah. So, and there's more people in general. So, it's hot. You just can't tell me you didn't need this stuff when it was 115, 116, and now, at 117. Now we need to have all the mobile morgue trucks to make this happen. But
I've told you before that I'm a 3rd generation native Arizonan. My 93-year-old grandmother was born in Phoenix. My dad was born in Phoenix. And
what did they say?
Both of them would say that it was hot 93 summers ago, or in my dad's case, 74 summers ago. And every year it's just about the same.
Yeah, it's still rotten. Yeah. And miserably hot. And this goes on top of the article I read to you the other day that some places on earth are just going to become unbearable to live on. You can't live there anymore because of the heat and the humidity. Like, come on, you could plant a city in the middle of Death Valley if you wanted to. Yeah. They did it in Phoenix. You're going to need air conditioning, but don't tell me you can't live there.
We didn't have air conditioning in Tucson. Yeah. Where I grew up.
I know. We didn't have...
16 years I was in that house. Yeah. No AC. We had an evaporative cooler, so we did have cooling. Was it ever
over 100 degrees?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. All the time during the summer. Yeah, evaporative cooling. I grew up in New York and New Jersey area, and it maybe didn't get into the hundreds much, but definitely got into the 90s, 95. I was just watching an old movie from the 90s, actually, or 80s. I don't remember what it was, but it was in the summer, and it was like, maybe it was Die Hard 3. It was like 95 degrees, right? I was like, it was 95 degrees in the 90s, huh? In New York. I didn't think that ever happened. I thought it was always in the 70s. But no, when I grew up in New York and New Jersey as a kid, it was in the 80s, 90s, mid 90s during the summer, and it was humid as I had a dehumidifier in my room, and you'd empty it like 18 times a day. You take a shower, and it was pointless because you'd be sweating day and night. It didn't matter, and none of us had AC. Yeah. Now I went back there a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if I shared this with all you. Just like we have the ADOT overhead signs here, it's a federal thing, so they force everyone to put these in. I guess these monster price tag things. Every overhead sign in Virginia, New Jersey, excessive heat warning. It's like 93 degrees. Excessive heat warning. They're pounding it. They're doing a psychological a psyop on all of us with this stuff. One more case in point: the turbulence that happened on, was that Korean Air or Singapore?
Well, it didn't happen. I mean, they say it's happening more often, but Korean Air has taken the ramen noodles, the hot noodles, off of their menu because of turbulence. Because they're afraid that if turbulence happens, they could spill and you could get scalded. And, that's...
I guess so. I mean, that's possible. Do they still serve coffee and tea?
Yeah. What about the hot beverages? Yeah. I don't know about that. And, I mean, you could get scalded by that at any time. If one person in the article was like, yeah, I'm always afraid I'm going to get burned while eating these noodles on, the Korean Air flight or whatever it said.
Maybe you should calm down. Don't take it then.
Don't order it.
Yeah. Calm down
It's a voluntary thing. They're not forcing it down you.
You gotta eat the noodles or
it's like a free thing. You can ask for them at any time.
Yeah.
And so if you're scared, then don't order it. And I don't know, if there's a person next to you with it, then just, I don't know, be on alert for the 2 minutes that they're eating the ramen. But the funny thing too is that the business class and first class, well, they can still enjoy this. I guess their reasoning is because their seats are bigger and the aisles are bigger. Then it won't
No, it's probably because they give them a real spoon or something, right? I mean, although if you're there, they might get the chopsticks.
Yeah, well, true. But I was reading too that Singapore Airlines has stopped doing the ramen and the hot beverages or anything, I guess.
Yeah, what are you getting said?
During turbulence. Oh, okay. So that doesn't okay, then you get into where it's not turbulent.
Well, yeah, I don't want you pouring coffee or something for me when there's turbulence.
That makes sense, but there's
going to be outrage over there because if you've ever been over to Asia, Southeast Asia, noodles is the thing.
It's big.
I mean, we went to Vietnam once and we were there and it was like noodles for breakfast, noodles for lunch, noodles for dinner, noodles for snack.
The rice dishes.
Or rice. And you're just after 10 days, you're like, okay,
I can't have rice
please,
anymore.
I don't want any more rice or noodles.
My grandfather would tell the story when he was alive that he was in the Navy, and after he was done with the Navy, he never ate rice ever again. Yeah, because that's what they ate all the time.
Oh, I believe it.
That was back in the 40s, late 40s or early 40s.
Okay, but anyway, what is causing it?
The turbulence is causing it, and
no, I know that. I know that.
It's just funny. What will be the noodles will be replaced with? What do you think?
Cracker? I don't know. No. Something cheaper because it's
corn
really
dogs.
Corn dogs.
Pizza, Hot Pockets.
Healthy stuff.
And sandwiches.
Healthy stuff, I guess.
I guess people traveling to and from Korea, I don't know. I guess they are into corn dogs because there's a Korean corn dog restaurant here in Flagstaff.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Anyway, at the very end, the last sentence.
Give it to me.
Quote, turbulence is one of the most unpredictable of all weather phenomena, with severe turbulence becoming more likely with climate change.
There you go.
Of course.
There you have it. It's caused by climate change, just like everything. Unbelievable. All right, love to hear from you. Talk with Jeff at iCloud.com. Hey, it's a good time to call Glenn Least or send him a message, Glenn Least at WT Wealth Management, to review your portfolio. Make sure that your values are lining up with the person you're investing with, the companies you're investing with. Glenn Least and WT Wealth Management, They can do a complimentary woke mitigation portfolio review. Make sure you don't have like a Disney, stuck in there that cares more about DEI stuff. And, while their stock took an absolute disastrous tank over the past couple of years, right? Glenn, I enjoy talking with him because he'll break it down to you plain spoken kind of way. That's why we have him on the show once or twice a month to give us market updates. Why don't you give him a call at 928-225-2474. That's Glenn Least at WT Wealth Management at 928-225-2474. Okay, I think you got to get out of here. It's kid time. Kids are back in school, so she's got to go pick up the kids. And we're going to keep going here in just a little bit, so hang tight and love to hear from you. Talk with Jeff at iCloud.com. If you're listening to the podcast, please give us a great review and also give us a comment in there. If you're not listening to the podcast, subscribe. Look up the Jeff Oravits Show. Also on video, Rumble, follow us there, and on YouTube, subscribe. We appreciate everyone who's done that.
This is the Jeff Oravits Show.